the real reason why men are checking out of dating. That's sort of the net of the show. And a lot of times these women are coming saying they want a 100K man. And as we start off the show by saying, if inflation is affecting everything from a loaf of bread to a used car, why wouldn't it affect the dating market? Why is 100K, are men not making enough? Should men become more resourceful? Why are they checking out? Because they taking their ball and go home because they can't play with the big boys or what?
Well, we can look at it for a couple of reasons. Some things I researched this week through YouTube. So the first one is we can look at it from our community. So I was watching the Kendra G show earlier this week or late last week, and this white gentleman came on. I think his name was Matt or something. He came on to the Kendra G show. The sisters in the chat was praising him like nothing. They were saying he was cute, he was articulate, he was nice, et cetera, et cetera. He was. From what I can gather from what they were saying, he probably was. Okay, fast forward to 2 guests later, a brother came on, exact same statistics. They ripped brother apart, calling him everything from the alphabet community to being lame and so forth. And so I sat there and think for a second. I was like, are we only viewed through one monolithic lens as a Black man? We don't get to be anything other than what they have already created in their mind who we are to be.
Right.
And so to answer that first question, Gavin, why men are checking out, I can understand why some have checked out, at least from our community. And being around the other community, it's kind of the same thing, just for different reasons. They just don't want to pay premium price anymore because it's not what it used to be. And the problem with that is that, I'm 49, and the women who approach me, I'm like, well, I'm not getting kids out of you.
Right.
I don't have any benefit of your youth. At least if it was somebody who I was like I said, if I take my ex-wife and we still have been together, I can always close my eyes and remember her as that 25-year-old woman. A woman coming in at 49, I have no clue. I don't get that. So at 49, what are we talking about? Are you coming in at 49 and say, hey, you have to pay for my whole life now? And I'm like, I get both sides of it. I get it from the woman's perspective. It's like, hey, I need you to take care of me because I see that as a man's responsibility. Okay, I can concede that, but then what am I getting on the back end? Because
Facts.
if I was with you the whole time, I would 100% agree with you. No matter what came through life, I can get that because you gave me your womb and gave me 4 kids. But it's a hard pill to swallow, is what I'm saying, Gavin and Mr. Walker. They have to present it in a way that the man can see that it's beneficial to him.
So why is it that an older one? So why is it that you have the same expectations for a woman that's 49 as a woman that's 29? They're two totally different animals. You should expect 2 totally different things from those 2 totally different women.
It's true, but the problem is with that is that woman invested in me, so she gets my resources at this point. The woman at 50, 49, what is she giving me?
She's not giving you the same thing as a 29.
No. I didn't ask that. What is she giving me is my question.
She's probably coming with her resources too, right? If she's 49,
But what is she giving? What is she giving him? She's coming with resources, but what is she giving him? That's all he's asking. What is she giving him in return?
What is he looking at? What is he looking at for her? From a 49-year-old woman is different from a 29-year-old.
Sis, what I think he's asking is what is he's bringing this, right? He's saying what he's bringing. What he's asking is now what she's bringing. What is she bringing to him personally?
Right, and we're trying to answer. He said Q was complaining about how he doesn't want to be in a position of his resources. So that's the only. Let's get that understood.
No, that's not what I said, Crystal. I don't mind sharing the resources because I do see that as a responsibility as a man. But what I'm saying is remove the 29-year-old. We don't have to reference her anymore. I just brought her use her for initial setup. But what I'm saying now, a 49-year-old woman coming in, she expected me to pay for everything. So what am I getting?
Question real quick, Q. Do you
no, don't shake your head. But that's my question, Heathen Queen. If she's expecting me to pay for it, take yourself out of it. Don't use you. Don't use you.
I get where you're coming from.
The woman who's coming in and expecting me to pay for everything, what is she giving me is my question. Or
the woman who's coming in should be giving you everything that you're looking for. She should be giving you everything that you're looking for. Q, like
no, she's trying to convince me. Like, remember, this is different now. I'm not the young man anymore who's trying to convince her to invest in me. I'm already here. So she's got to prove to me
that she's going to make the latter part of your life the happiest years of your life.
And what do you find valuable? That's the question. I don't find youth and being able to jump over a fence valuable when I'm 50. What do you find valuable at 50? That's what you find out.
She has to figure that out. She has to come in and say, hey, I'm not giving them kids and all the other stuff. What value am I going to give to him so that he can see that in me?
I was just trying to get an understanding of Q. Are you looking for a younger woman or are you looking for an older woman? Just period.
No, we're speaking of older women because that's what was brought up. And I don't young date because it's too many. I believe in families. That's first of all. I talked about this before. I believe in marriage and families. So I would not rob a 28-year-old woman from the opportunity to have family because the crew factor is done. I have my 4 children. I'm not having any more. So
okay, so what if she's a younger woman who already has children? She don't want no more either.
That's a different story. Let's get past this one first. That's a whole different story. Let's get past this one first. So
I think that the older woman should be bringing Q. Q has worked hard. Q has lived his first part of his life. He's divorced now. So Q is probably at a point of being at a position of wanting to enjoy the latter half of his life. So Q does not want to be in a position to where he feels like he is being used and abused. I believe that 49-year-old woman, since Q doesn't like younger women or whatever the case may be, the woman, period, regardless of age, should be bringing Q exactly what he's looking like. I find men who are in their older years of life or, second half of life are looking for happiness. They're in a second chapter.
That's all.
Peace. Yeah, he wants peace. He wants to be able to travel. He wants a woman who can get up and go when he needs her to get up and go. He wants her to be able to cook, take care of him, nourish him, keep his house tidy. If he has younger children, take care of the children. If Q doesn't have any younger children, somebody who can spiritually and emotionally be on his, not even emotionally, spiritually, and respect his spirituality and his religion. He's a religious man. So he probably wants somebody who goes to church. So I think she just needs to be the type of woman that you enjoy and make your quality of life better.
Now, Q,
think that'd be easy for Q to find? You think that woman is
Q has to decide what Q finds important. I can't walk up to Q and say, hey Q, I got this.
Crystal just covered it. She said that's most likely what Q want, and he didn't say, but I'm saying is that woman that Crystal just described, you think she's fairly easy to find?
I can find her. I promise I'll put money on it.
But here's my thing. If you don't value someone cooking, if you don't value someone being amiable, if you don't value someone being this, that, and the third, that's not going to be someone that you would be looking for. You have to decide what you're looking for in a woman.
I already know what. No, you're missing the point. I already know what I want out of a woman. My point is that if somebody in my position, the woman needs to figure out what the man wants. At this point in life, if she wants to enter into his life, and I'll give you a point. And I spoke to this before, Crystal, that the women who approach me in public, they offer me things that I don't want initially, because I need to. So the woman if she identifies a man and says that's the man I want, it's incumbent upon her.
Can we pause? That's where we're messing up, Q. I would not interrupt you disrespectfully. A woman ain't got no business. That's her problem, masculine. She ain't got no business coming for Q. All she needs to do is accidentally kind of brush against Q, and Q now decides if he wants to talk to her. So you're attracting these very masculine women. I think that's a problem.
No, that's you're missing the point. My point is, if she identifies that I'm me or somebody in my position is the type of man she wants, she needs to put herself in my proximity to learn who I am. You get what I'm saying? The same way, and now we'll go back to the younger version. The same way that when I was 27, I had to understand what that woman expected out of a husband and try to be that person so that she would invest in me moving forward.
I got a question for you though, man. Give and take the gravity of our circumstances and situation as real men. Like we're talking about real men. We're not talking about like the crossovers or whoever it is. We're talking about authentic, not nugs or nothing like that.
Yep.
Authentic men. My question to you about that is, do you think that they're the prize? Do you think women, and this is also for the women on the panel, do you think men, actual real men, I'm talking about real men, not nugs, real men that are the ones like the brother, what's my brother name over here, Jordan Smith or whatever the case, or other brothers that are single, even G Honda, do you think those men are prize or a prize to a woman?
I would have to say yes, based off of they are aggregating to a certain type of man. So if they're saying that the 20% of men have the characteristics that they want, and which means 80% don't, that means the 20% men are a prize because 80% of the woman wants them. So even though he may not feel that way, but if you look at it logically, if 80% of the women want 20% of the men, those men are the prize because they are a rarity. I mean, that's my whole point. Regardless if they feel that way or not, the women are telling them that they're the prize because they don't want the other guys.
Now, why do you think they're the prize is the question?
Because they're rare.
They're rare, right? So meaning that you're not going to get, like, if I need a woman that, if I want to mold this woman to be the woman that I have, my wife is older than me, and I had to mold my wife to what I want her to be for me, right? My wife understands the gravity of the man that she has because I'm a good man. I've been here 22 years, didn't go nowhere, no nothing. Stand by her side, take care of her just as I'm expecting her to take care of me. But why I'm asking that is because my wife had to understand that I'm the prize, because it's not a lot of men like me. And if like her sisters who are single and they're older than her, she wouldn't want to be in that circumstances. So she takes very good care of me. And I take care of her in return. But I think we're missing the link here. For some reason, when good men say that they are the prize, women like are taken, or they saying that, or for good men say, listen, I want my woman to be this way, that way, and I want her to be able to cook, clean, blah, 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 blah. Women take that as as some women, I'm not saying all, some women take that as like they're slaves or something, or they can't do that, or they're not coming with their full end of the deal. I think for men, good men, they need peace. Like that's why I heard somebody in the chat saying that. I honestly believe that real men are the prize. We are outnumbered, man. Ain't too much of us running around here. Ain't too much of us. And authentic masculine men. I ain't talking these semi-masculine or toxic. I'm talking about real masculine men. We're a rarity.
So I think that the biggest problem, the real Leo, is that the women voicing their preferences on these men, they need to, from my perspective, this is my theory, they need to put them into subcategories, because you can have a man who makes what I make, but is never going to settle down with a woman. And for women to think that man should change his mindset to be with her, I think it's faulty, because he doesn't want to be that way. Women should pick a man who wants to be something that she wants, instead of trying to make them into that. So even though you have these 20% of men, not all these men are going to want to settle down with one woman. They're going to get as many as they can. And and as religious as I am, my mind is telling me that logically, from his perspective, that makes sense, because that's the side of the divide. He's not on the marriage divide. He's on the other side, and he wants to get as many as he can. And in logic, that makes sense, because all the women saying that they want him. So why would he not partake?
You know what I think though?
Me looking at him, I was like, dude, that's not what you want to do, because you're going to damage a lot of women that way. But I can't say that he's wrong, because they saying that's all that they want is him.
Nah, you know what I think women respect? Discipline, bro. That's all it is, man. When you got discipline, do you realize the power you possess with discipline? Because women are expecting men to jump at anything walking past with legs and a vagina. But if you show good discipline, like you on your, like you're aligned with all your chakras.
Yes.
There is a woman that is, to me, I think that attracts a woman in a sense where she know you about your business, point blank and period. Like you're not finna around at all.
I agree.
Yes.
You know?
That's why when Jordan was talking, and I know that a lot of men don't like to hear from women, but I think we really have to move past that because I love to hear from men and because we're ultimately interacting with each other. What sounds to be bad is actually like a plus, like a woman hearing I've been celibate for a year. And just a simple switch of words is like, oh my God, that's very attractive. Like you're that
Yeah, that's
disciplined.
powerful
Like,
to me.
that's powerful. And I'm telling you, that's very attractive
for
too.
an attractive man. Like, yeah, let's give context. Like, let's point this brother out. Like, if it's an attractive brother, like, if they show up, you know what I'm saying?
If it's an attractive,
if they show up looking like an ancient god, like my man Real Lee up here, then he like, yeah, I've been selling for a year. She'd be like, okay, I feel you, big dog. But if you come in looking less than, and they don't come up here looking like every woman that these women describe up here, then they're gonna be like, oh,
well, let's use the real example.
And they'll use it against you. So either they'll find it admirable if they like what they're seeing, or they might not. They might find it.
Well, let's use the real example. Let's use Jordan. Jordan, who came up here and said what he said. He's not a bad looking guy. He's not weak on the eyes. He said what he said. Now his delivery was different, but regardless, just a swap of his delivery, and that is attractive to most women. Me and Heathen Queen and me both were shaking our head, and Leo didn't even know that we were about to be agreeing. So I think that it's attractive to most women. Well, we would say real women, quote unquote, real women, even if the chat disagrees. So, and to the point, I think that we just keep getting into these unnecessary conversations of I'm the prize, you the prize. I think it was Rich Media who said it. Whoever is the prize, the other person is the winner. When you got a real man and a real woman together, it doesn't matter. Like we both are amazing to one another. So I just think that we got to put ourselves in a position. And last but not least, the older man who was up here, he was saying, is it a lost cause for him? But he left out. And I just wanted to say that, I'm not going to lie. I know it's hard when you might not be the most attractive to a lot of people, in what we call the sexual marketplace. And I think that unfortunately men are in the position of having to make the pockets way up a little bit more when they're in that position, unfortunately. Why? Because maybe they need to get, cut the hair. First off, cut the hair down. We unfortunately live in a superficial world. I don't like it, but we do. Cut the hair down, do things to just seem more attractive. If you got
two things is true, Crystal. I would say this at the end of the day, shout out to Mr. Wilson, but men are used to living alone. They don't need, he didn't seem like he was unhappy. Men don't need that companionship like that. The brothers seem
statistics say otherwise. Statistics say that men die quicker when they live alone versus women living alone.